Today we're diving into my most requested topic. What exactly does a biomedical scientist do? What are the skills required? What qualifications do you need to work in this role? And what are the career options both in the lab and beyond? Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm so excited about this topic, like every topic that I start, but every time I gather information and I structure it in a way, I'm so excited because I know somebody out there will benefit from it. Guys, all my mistakes and all my failures, I'm sharing them with you guys so that at least you have an easier path when you start in your career. So this video will be to any student or anybody who's considering a career in biomedical science, or whether you're a home student or international student. Hopefully you will benefit from this. So consider this as a biomedical scientist explained as part of the series of Exploring Biomedical Science 2025 update. So in this session, we're going to be exploring what are the career paths, salary expectations, essential skills, and steps to kickstart your career if you're considering biomedical science in the UK. I'm a biomedical scientist, UK registered biomedical scientist, so anything I share with you guys is basically for you to start your career in the UK, which I'm gonna explain a bit further as we move forward with this session. So there are key points that you need to consider to kickstart your career, and I think this applies to any career, not just in biomedical science. So if you're approaching another career after biomedical science, or even you're starting a career in general, these are the steps that you need to consider when you embark any new career. So in the context of biomedical science, you need to understand what are the required qualifications that are essential to succeed in biomedical science. The least spoken about skill: networking, whether in person or online, as we are experiencing at the moment, will give you valuable insights and opportunities. Thirdly, continuous learning is an essential part of your journey in order to succeed, whether in biomedical science or any career. So studying does not end at university. Actually, continuous learning, it's not an option anymore. It's not a luxury. It's an essential part. And I'm telling you, this will enhance your skills because you'll be reviewing your skills, and your career prospects in this field or any field will be promising. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Aida Noor. I'm a biomedical scientist. My career started in the UK. I started as a research scientist in a research company, drug discovery company, after completing my master's in biomedical science. So my degree is not even in biomedical science. I started my professional journey or university education here. I did biochemistry degree, then master's in biomedical science, medical microbiology, and then after qualifying as a biomedical scientist, I did a postgraduate certificate in healthcare management. So I've got years of experience in biomedical science, both as an MLA and a BMS. My career started in the private first as an MLA, then I qualified in the NHS, and then I applied for biomedical science, and the first opportunity that came to me was private. I took it, and then I decided to go self-employed, which I'm currently am, or locum, and then I work for NHS, or whenever a vacancy or an opportunity appears and I find it suitable for my circumstances, I accept it. And I spoke about all of these experiences on all my videos, so check them out. The link will be in the first comment or even in the description, all the playlists where you can watch about everything I spoke about, my experience in the NHS, the private, what I think, everything that you need is in the playlist, and there's more to come. There's new content that I'll be sharing, so stay tuned and keep engaging and ask me questions. Thank you so much for everybody who's asking questions. I've got Q&A. As I promised, there's going to be regular Q&A, so there is one in process right now that's going to be posted, so keep your questions coming. So as I said, I've worked in different places, mainly London. I've worked outside London as well, but I'm a Londoner, so I love working in London. London is one of the best cities, so I'm proud to be a Londoner. So I'm quite biased when I look for opportunities to be in London. And to be honest, being biased, if you can survive in London, you can survive anywhere. So I'm very passionate about making a difference through my profession and educating you, the viewer, about biomedical science in specific, and how to create your dream career. Creating content has given me the space where I share my frustration. I've published 2 books, which are not even books, they're like notebooks. So the first one was Aida, Noor, where I spoke about my journey to become qualified biomedical scientist. I've had the longest journey that you can think of, so what they don't tell you at university. But then after I got qualified and became biomedical scientist, reaching that dream, I realized there's a difference between a job and a career. So I realized, oh, actually it goes beyond job applications. Then I've written my second book, Creating Your Dream Career Beyond Job Application, where you navigate the future of work after the pandemic. So the pandemic was the trigger where I left full-time job and I embarked self-employment. So they're both available on Amazon. They're very short, just to give you an idea. And I've had great feedback from readers. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's a bit of a nutshell about me. If you're new to the channel, and enough of that, if you follow me on my social media, you'll have an idea on what I'm interested in addition to my self-employment as a biomedical scientist. The reason I've taken it, I've shared it again in other videos, it gives me the freedom and the flexibility at this particular stage of my life. So that's enough of me, and we move to the next section. So now we move to the main topic. What do biomedical scientists do? Again, this session is like an overview, so I'm just giving you a snapshot just to have a visual idea on what we're talking about, or biomedical science overview. So it's not comprehensive, but it's for you to take away, because the whole point of me now from my second year on YouTube is I'm going to simplify things and break it down for you and provide enough information in a digestible manner. So this is simple, but it's bigger than that. That's what I want to make clear. So biomedical scientists, they perform crucial tests on patient samples, and that will help in disease diagnosis or management of diseases. In previous videos, I spoke about the difference between biomedical science and biomedical engineering. Biomedical science, it deals directly with patient samples, but biomedical engineering, they are building modules in order to help healthcare from a different angle. I've spoken in a different video about this, so check it out if you're trying to decide between both of them. But both of them are important in healthcare. But in terms of disease diagnosis, doctors cannot make a decision on the right treatment or managing a disease without the biomedical scientist doing the work, analyzing patient samples. Also, the work involves, in addition to manual work, currently, ever since I started my career, we use advanced technology to analyze samples and interpret results. I specialize in microbiology or infection sciences, and I was very lucky that when I started my career, I started with automation, so I was familiar with technology. However, we still use manual tests for certain tests, so the best of both worlds, I would say. Also, another responsibility, you need to collaborate with the team. So the laboratory will have medical laboratory assistant or support workers who are involved in the processing of samples. You've got us biomedical scientists, and you've got the clinical scientists who connect between the lab and the consultant or doctors. So collaboration is very important. That will ensure accurate patient care and treatment plans. So what is it like working in the lab or the setting or the environment that for biomedical scientists? Biomedical scientists work in hospitals, laboratories, and research facilities. Like I said, I started my career in the private lab, but also commonly people like to work for the NHS. But I'm glad I've explored both worlds. So don't forget, you can find opportunities in private clinics. Also, which I didn't know, you can work for health organizations. Now with technology, there's so many startups, so many companies. I've spoken about that in one of my videos when we explored lab, non-lab, and in previous video I spoke about lab and non-lab. So there's loads of opportunities. You don't have to be just in a lab or in a hospital. That's why it's also very important to appreciate that you're not only working by yourself. You've got the MLAs who are involved in receiving samples, sorting them, labeling them, booking them, and processing them. That's the MLA. The BMS is us. We do the analysis, interpretation, and reporting to the doctors. You've got the clinical scientist or advanced clinical scientist who deal with more advanced work beyond that, dealing with the doctors or dealing with the treatment, basically, who are deciding what antibiotics to treat the patient or the correct treatment. And all of that will improve the healthcare outcome. I always use this diagram that shows you the ecosystem of disease diagnosis, where it shows you the journey from the time the patient goes to the doctors all the way to the time the results are sent out to the doctors. So just think of disease diagnosis as a whole ecosystem, and whoever is involved in it. I've spoken about this extensively, but in case if you're a first time viewer, you go to the doctors, you complain of symptoms. The doctors, according to your symptoms, they'll request samples from you, whether blood or any type of sample. That gets sent to the lab with the tests that are requested, which can be in a form or electronic. They get processed by the MLAs, the interpretation, analysis, reporting by the BMSs, and then it goes back to the doctors. So that's in a nutshell the disease diagnosis process. So that gives you an idea on how the work is done in the lab. So next, there are different speciality. If you studied biomedical science or you're in the process, you will realize that there are different disciplines. For simplicity, I've only included these three specialities, but we're going to talk about that in greater detail in the next video. So stay tuned for the next video next week. As you know, I post weekly now. So clinical chemistry analyzes blood samples. Microbiology, studying infection diseases. Hematology examines blood disorders. So this is a simple overview of the specialty, and we're going to talk about that next week. So what are the qualifications that are required for this role? It's complicated, I know, but I've simplified it. I've spoken about it, and we're going to revisit it again, whether you're home student or international student, so stay tuned. But for simplicity, the first thing, like any profession, you need a bachelor's degree in biomedical science. Of course, it's not necessary. I know I've mentioned earlier that I had a biochemistry degree, but if you're lucky enough to have a degree in biomedical science, that's great. But it needs to be accredited by the Institute of Biomedical Science, or the IBMS. It should also include the placement or the portfolio, the IBMS registration portfolio. These two together, they will qualify you to become competent, and this will qualify you to go on the register to become a HCPC registered biomedical scientist. There are cases when your degree is not accredited, but this is the standard way in order for you to become a HCPC registered biomedical scientist in the UK. It's illegal to practice this profession if you're not on the register. The HCPC is to protect the public. There are other healthcare professionals that are on the register. So think of biomedical scientist, you're a healthcare professional. It's illegal to practice without being on the register. So that's why the competency is important. According to, what's the saying? The HCPC, the standards of proficiency of HCPC. There's certain standards that you should be adhering to, and being on the register means you've ticked all those boxes. So this is a simplified way. There are cases where you are international or your degree is different, like myself. You still send your papers to the IBMS for the assessment. They will decide if you are competent. You've got all the necessary modules that you can qualify you to train in the lab. I don't want to complicate it. I just the slide simplifies it for you. But we're going to revisit this again. But check my other videos where I talk about that in greater detail and I show you the website. But again, we're going to revisit it with a few updates. Okay, you qualified. Well done. Congratulations. But you need to make sure that you continue developing yourself. Continued professional development is crucial for your career progression in this field. So I hope I've explained it in a simple way, because it's not straightforward. Check my other videos about this, and we're going to revisit it with few updates, so stay tuned. So now we move into the skills. First, we're going to start with the common skills, the technical skills. These are essential for you to succeed in biomedical science. Again, it's a long list. For simplicity, I promised myself to put it in points that are easy for you to digest, but by all means, there's more to it. So, first thing, like I mentioned earlier, we do work with advanced techniques. So understanding laboratory equipment is important for you to complete the analysis correctly. I always joke about it and say, you become an engineer because you learn, if you're dealing with an instrument or a machine, you have to learn how to troubleshoot it. So you somehow become an engineer. So it's good because in the real life, you become, when things break down, you don't panic because you know how to deal with the challenges. Data analysis, you become perfect in that because you need to be accurately analyzing, accurately interpreting, accurately, and therefore you will be reporting correctly. And that also involves strong attention to detail, because you make sure that you are precise. Because again, any mistake you make is going to kill a patient. And I don't like when, and I've heard it several times, when assistants sometimes they say, I don't want to be a biomedical scientist because I don't want the responsibility of authorizing or issuing a report. I'm sorry, that is wrong. If the MLA or support worker who are processing the sample are not sorting, booking, labeling, processing correctly, then the biomedical scientists are going to interpret or analyze the wrong work. So we are all, and the same applies to the advanced, the whole ecosystem. So everybody has a responsibility, actually by law, to do their work properly. So if you hear somebody saying, yourself, you think, I don't want to be a biomedical science because I don't want the responsibility. Everyone holds a responsibility, and it's in the documents. When you do your training, you will see that for yourself. So that's a myth, and that is wrong. The least spoken about is the soft skills. Communication skills are essential. Yes, people say, I want to be in the lab because I don't want to be communicating with people. No, you do communicate with people. You communicate in writing, you communicate in verbally. So communication is vital. It's a huge skill that you need to master, and you will master it whether you like it or not. And that also because you're collaborating with the other healthcare professionals. So strong communication skills is the most important soft skill. Attention to detail, that's also a soft skill because you are analyzing results, and you're paying attention, you're analyzing, critical thinking, problem solving, all these slash soft skills, maybe technical, you might, it's a subjective, you might disagree with me. Problem solving is essential because you are navigating through the complex challenges of biomedical science in a nutshell. So I always use this slide in my talks or presentation, which summarizes the skills that are needed by biomedical scientists. And the good news is that AI cannot replace those skills. Let me know in the comment, guys, if you disagree or agree. So it's not doom and gloom with technology they keep saying taking over our jobs. No, it's going to make life easy. For me, technology made life easy, my work. So that's the skills in a nutshell. So we spoke about the settings, but just to give you another view on where to work, there are various settings, and this is something I discovered quite late. when I started this channel, when I started exploring lab, non-lab, where you can work. Maybe if I knew that in the past, I would have made better choices, I think. I'm not sure. They say never regret things, but I mean, that's why I'm trying to save you guys and show you the bright side of this profession. So, like I said, you can work in hospitals, you can work in research labs, you can work even in academia, universities. Again, don't forget, you can explore private diagnostic labs. There are many out there. I started with it both as an MLA and as a biomedical scientist. So healthcare organizations or even startups now with technology disrupting healthcare, there will be loads of companies that will appreciate you working with them. I've had few communications about participating because not all laboratories have the technology. So your expertise and your knowledge will still be required. It might not be apparent now, but in years to come, with the disruption of technology and AI, it will be. So also pharmaceutical companies. But also bear in mind, which I mentioned previously, appreciate that each setting has its unique expertise and challenges. So in terms of job hunting, I've mentioned before, if you find an organization, send an email to them, personalized CV. Well, now you've got ChatGPT, so you have no excuse. I can do it for you. But again, the way you perform, the way you bring yourself up, you show yourself or display yourself will determine what type of person you are. So don't be afraid to approach a company or any place where you want to work, whether in the UK or internationally. Just pitch for yourself, send an email, cold call, whichever you can do. That way you can explore those opportunities. So don't limit yourself. And in a previous video, I spoke about two types of jobs. There's ones that biomedical sciences graduates can apply directly. Some which your degree might be applicable to it. So the world is your oyster, let's say. This is something, if I told my younger self, I would have pushed further and not limit myself just to the NHS or just to the laboratory. When I applied for a private job, I was so desperate because it was very difficult to get into the NHS. But then that was the best thing I've had, because it exposed me to amazing challenges, which I don't want to make this video very long. I spoke about it in a previous video. Definitely don't limit yourself to any opportunity that is presented to you. So now money. Money talks, as they say. So this is, as I said, this is a 2025 video update. So salaries, I've discussed it in a previous video, guys. It's the one before about the salaries. So check them out. But I'm going to talk about, what bands that you move, so you can easily find that on Google, because what I want you guys, when you watch this video, maybe you'll be watching it next year or something, it's the same setting, and if there's an update, I'll keep you updated, guys. So NHS, for example, when you qualify, congratulations, you become a band 5 biomedical scientist. That's the starting point. And then next you will move into a band 6, where the specialization is required. You specialize with, so band 5 or the portfolio, when you do the band 5, it's a generic, so you can move into any specialization that you choose. Then you become a band 6. From band 6, you want to become a senior, you've got years of experience, you've done advanced certifications, etc. You move into a band 7, which is a senior role. You move into management, that's a band 8. And like I said, the continuous, the continued development continues with you, or the CPD as we refer to it. So that's where it is 5, 6, 7, 8A, 8B, and so on, all the way to the director. I don't know what's beyond that. So I am at the moment a band 6, so I specialize in infection sciences. I'm quite happy where I am. So again, it depends on what your aspirations are. The advantage of working in the NHS, a lot of people might know, is the pension scheme. I have an opinion about that. I don't really believe, it's my channel, I can say what I want. I'm not a big fan of pension. I don't believe in things that, I don't know. This is another topic on its own. So you have pension. Also, you've got opportunities for career development, whether in the NHS. And I think this scheme, the private has applied it as well. I've worked in a place where that was done also. So I think now the systems have improved. I know there's a myth, well, I don't know if it's a myth, it's a personal choice. People used to say, oh, I don't like the private because they, you know, they get rid of people more. But from my recent experience, the last couple of years, it was the other way around. Staff retention is higher. You know what, guys, anything that's been traditional is not applicable now. It's 2025, guys. Things have changed. You've got technology, you've got everything online. So do what's best for you. Your journey is unique. If I listen to people in the past when I was trying to get into the NHS and then the private opportunity came, if I didn't do that, I don't think I would have ever started my career. So don't limit yourself, guys. Go for the first opportunity, build your experience, start exploring. So that's in terms of salary. And also, the good news is, the good thing, whether you're in private or in the NHS, you're less likely going to be laid off compared to the corporate world. The corporate world, the company goes for liquidation or bankrupt or disappears or something, your job is lost. But if you work for healthcare, you're less likely, especially this role. Nobody's going to get rid of you. Your CV, your skills, you've worked so hard to qualify, you're less likely somebody will get rid of you, unless you kill somebody. This is how I tell myself. So, and then you're secure for a couple of years. You can start your life, you can do whatever you like, start your family. You know, there is... this is what I'm talking from my own experience. I'm glad I did this because it gave me the stability for a long time, and now I'm experiencing the flexibility. So I will always say the good side of this profession. Any career has its challenges, but this profession has given me those opportunities, especially in the UK. I don't think other countries offer this flexibility when you become qualified. You've got years of experience. Some of them, as soon as they qualify, they go for locum, which is the self-employment. So the options are there. It's up to you how you go for them. So I'm talking from my own experience and observations. Don't limit yourself. So what are the hours like? Oh, like we're always, there's a big thing about work-life balance. But now I've listened to a talk saying there's no work-life balance, there's work-life harmony. So unfortunately, the downside of this is the work is shift-based. However, it varies. Yes, that for me, that was a challenging part, because there would be 1 week early, 1 week late. There was a pattern in a place when I started. By the way, guys, I started in specimen reception, and then I've moved to microbiology because at that time it was attractive. It was a Monday to Friday, no weekends, no evenings. But now things have changed. It's 24/7 now because we are living longer, we are sicker. You know, the work pattern has changed now. So, but it varies from one place to another. When I worked in the private, I used to do one late once a month, the whole week, Monday to Friday. That was it. Some teams will be doing night shift altogether. Some people will be doing weekends only. So it really varies. The NHS as well, they have their own system. Full-time positions, normally up to 35 to 40 hours. It depends. You really need to be flexible because there will be weekends, there will be evenings. I chose to work self-employed or locum. Again, I spoke that in a previous video. Mine is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But in the last position, I was asked to do overtime, weekends. I was able to. And the good thing is, because it's something you're familiar with, it doesn't matter if you do overtime because it's you enjoy it so much. So, and it's extra money. You know, it might be tax, but extra money. So in terms of stability, it's fantastic. But I found the shift work was more challenging, but I think that's everywhere now. Yes, you have shift work, but also there's another advantage, which I have observed. Some people, they decide to do night shift only. So if people have a family, they don't want to have childcare. So if one of them is working daytime, the other one will work nighttime. They don't have to worry about childcare. And I've seen so many examples of people do that. I've done night shift before because I was trying to do my top-up modules, and then I found it difficult. But there was more more holidays because you work less hours. So there is variety, and again, it depends on where you work, depends how you know, you can make a deal with the management. There is a flexibility. So like I said, it gives you the stability, and there is flexibility to some extent. Again, there's no, don't think of the work-life balance. Think of work-life harmony. For me, I benefited from all of them. Sometimes when I used to have a late shift, I would have something in the morning, so I can do it, or I can negotiate and say, oh, can I do a late shift on that week? Because so the flexibility was there wherever it was possible. You can swap with your someone in your team. I found, again, this is subjective, I found there was more flexibility in the private than the NHS, but I could be wrong. So again, I think there was pros and cons, but I look at the pros more than the cons. So the con was just the shift work. It can be tiring, but again, if it matches your lifestyle, then that's perfect. So like I mentioned, CPD, or continued development, is very important in part of your career growth. That way you can advance, and it's a secure way, because if you've got that package, nobody can take that away from you. I remember when I first qualified, it was a long journey. Oh my God, if I remember. Anyway, someone said to me in a place where I was working, it was an assistant, and she said to me, I was about to go for my verification, and that's it. And she said to me, that's it, nobody can take that away from you. Oh my God, that meant the world to me. So imagine that. So think of every experience that you get wherever you are in the biomedical science journey. It will equip you a secure career. Believe me. Now when I listen about AI and technology and the layoffs and all of that, I'm thinking, I still have a job to go back to. So look at the bright side of it. The good thing is, with experience, you can move into senior roles. Sometimes it can take longer, but at the end of the day, you are getting paid. And again, if you do further education like masters, etc., you move into specialist position. And the least spoken about skill, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, networking. It's extremely important. Also, find a mentor. This is something I wish somebody told me when I first started, and this is something I practice. This is what I'm doing, is mentoring at a scale. But I started mentoring very early on, because I didn't want anyone to go through it, and because you get to experience. Both of them, they will enhance your career prospects significantly. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, mentoring. One advice I would give you guys, find the right person. Find the person who loves training, who's very passionate about training. This is what I used to do. I used to stay behind, find those individuals. And so there is a bit of emotional intelligence, guys. You have to observe the workplace, ask around, do your research, find who's who. That's where networking kicks in. So networking, not necessarily you do it online or you go to events. No, networking is within your place. Study the personalities, because not everybody likes to train. It's nothing wrong with people. People are different. Some people, remember, people come from different backgrounds. Some people have too much work. Some people have their own personal priorities, but some others love training. They enjoy it. So look for those ones. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who helped me through my journey. If you're watching this video, thank you so much, because you made a difference. And I've recently reconnected with a particular individual who really helped me. I hope he's watching this video. He was amazing. He was like my teacher. So yeah, having a mentor really helps. And that's where I thought about having a career coach or mentor. And now I have mentors indirectly in different aspects of my life, in terms of entrepreneurship or whatever. So this is, in a nutshell, how you can grow, not just in biomedical science, but in any field. So finally, this is an advice I would give to all of you, and I wish somebody gave me that advice. Your path is unique. I took a non-traditional path, I didn't have a degree that was accredited. I didn't have the experience, which is an essential part in order to succeed in this career before you start. Just a degree, biochemistry degree, which I didn't even enjoy it. Let alone, I didn't enjoy it. Halfway through, I was like, oh my God, how can I apply it? And then I found out that I need to do the top up and all of that. So I did master's thinking, oh, it's okay. That will qualify me. Then I realized, no, you still need the lab work. You still need to. So I had to go through the whole journey. So it's very important. Mentorship will help you to understand your journey in order to succeed. And also it will help you to explore pathways in order to grow. So have an open mind. Yes, you're in the lab or wherever you're working. That's where networking is important. Speak, do your research, have an open mind and ears to any opportunity, because they'll come like that. And make sure that you review your skills, because as I mentioned now, skills, because of the disruption of technology and AI now, you have to make sure that your skills are current. I know I say this is a stable job and all of that, but now you've got AI, many things, there will be a huge disruption. So there will be roles that never existed that will appear. So if you know your skills, you will have a good value, you'll have a good job. That also will be aligned with your career goals. So if you know what your goal is, you'll be able to decide where you want to go. So that's an overall overview on what it takes to become a biomedical scientist in 2025, from skills to qualifications to real world roles. Whether you're just starting out or exploring or even considering a shift, I hope this video has given you a bit of clarity. let me know, guys, in the comments, what's your next step? Has this inspired you? Do you disagree? Do you think, oh, I'm just talking about, nonsense or rubbish? Let me know. Or if you're even considering exploring other science-related roles, maybe you're already considering, and share your experience, share what you think, because I'm really keen to know how far people can explore science or life sciences or healthcare sciences. There's so many names. We're going to talk about that as well, all these new names, where they stand. Because when I hear the new graduates and they say, I've done bioscience, I'm like, anyway. So also check the video description, check all the playlists, let me know what you guys think. Thank you to everybody who's asking me questions. Some are really amazing questions, and I'm not keeping them to myself. I did respond to most of you, but we're going to share it in the next Q&A, and the Q&A is going to be a tradition. I've just announced it on my LinkedIn. So if you found this helpful, guys, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, the whole thing. And one message I want you to take away from this video: don't give up. It's greener on the other side. If you're building a career, it does take time. Don't listen to all these quick. And nobody is born with knowledge. This is what I tell myself whenever I'm panicking, I'm trying to explore something. And this is one of the best advices that I had. Nobody is born with knowledge. So be patient and don't give up, and I'm here for you guys. So we're in this together. So until the next video, see you next week. Keep shining, keep inspiring, and see you next time. Today we're diving into the Is it recording? Okay. Breathe. Okay, I'm really struggling with this angle. I can never get it correctly, but never mind. As long as the message is received, that's all it matters. God. Anyway.